Hi, I'm Sarah, or you may know me as Eilinwy or Eilonwy, or maybe we could get a Welsh person in here to teach us all how to properly pronounce that name. This is my love letter to WotCon. So I've been spending the whole time since coming home trying to understand the alchemy of what exactly happened up there. I am autistic and introverted and socially anxious. And for some context, here's some actual footage of me after a normal social event. If you don't know Star Trek very well, this is a character whose natural form is goo. And he masks and masquerades as a human. And then at night, he goes back down into his goo like form to regenerate and recharge. He can't maintain that human form indefinitely. And that feels like a really strong metaphor for what it feels like to me to mask my autistic traits, which I do almost 100% of the time in social situations. So even like a one-to-one coffee chat with someone I know really well, I can be really exhausted afterwards. And just, I pretty much count on having to become goo. And I thought surely WotCon would turn me to goo because I haven't even been on a trip since COVID. I've been at home with my family. And so I pretty much counted on going out, trying to talk to people, going down into my goo like container at night to regenerate. And after the first night, sitting down and really getting into some fun conversations with people, I went back to my room and I realized, like, sure, I was tired. I was up past my bedtime, but I wasn't goo. And I'm fascinated at what it was specifically about that environment and all of you wonderful people in this community that made me feel comfortable that I didn't spend all of that energy trying to mask and like present certain uh appropriate facial um see, like right now the words aren't coming to me. It's fine because we're friends, right? um that somehow I felt comfortable being me, which is not common. I just felt like I was in a group of my people and I didn't have to like read a lot of social situations. I didn't have like we could just skip the small talk and jump straight. Wow, my country accent's coming out, you guys. Jump right into like the meat of things because of the books and the community. We have all of this shared context. So it wasn't like meeting a bunch of new people. It was like meeting like a bunch of extended family, like cool family that you haven't met yet. And like everyone was a friend that I just hadn't talked to. So like, sure, I was tired each night and I was tired after the con from traveling and from staying up past my bedtime, but I at no point felt socially depleted. And I think that was because I didn't feel the need to mask. And I am fascinated by that. And I really want to invite more of that into my life. Like maybe I can carry a little bit of WotCon with me and remember how it felt to be like that and carry that in other situations. Of course, there's always the chance when you're not in safe environments and you're not masking that it's not going to go well. You're going to be misunderstood. Something about this fandom, like I think there are like a number of neurodivergent people in the community, but even those who aren't and don't identify this way are very neurodiversity affirming. Like you all love a good info dump. Um which like that's one of the first things as an autistic that you learn to mask. Like I wasn't diagnosed until I was an adult. And so I spent a long time wondering like why was I having a hard time making friends? And other kids would like grill me on why I would rather stay at home and read a book than be at the football game. Like that was the social context of the community that I grew up in, and I just had no interest in it. And so, anyway, I was a little bit involved in the Wheel of Time community. If any of you guys were around back on Whatmania, I was Island Lisa Die back on that platform. And when that closed down, I kind of lost touch. And so I just like the biggest thanks to the Dusty Wheel and to Matt Hatch and Taylor and Honest for holding that space for us to come back together. I know some people have probably stayed involved in Dragon Mount and you didn't have that break, but I like really kind of completely lost touch with this community during college and went really hard into trying to learn to be a professional, which incorporates a lot of masking. And that just the last couple of years finding the Dusty Wheel and watching it, I got these warm fuzzy vibes of like, these are my people. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I cried with some of you guys at the con. Just like a fraction of that feeling. Wow. Watching the Dusty Wheel. And I didn't think I could go to the con. I was getting like a major FOMO, but I didn't think that I was going to be able to make it this year. And one night my husband was putting our 4-year-old to bed and I just popped on the Dusty Wheel to watch. I didn't catch the whole live stream. I just caught the end. I was like, oh, I'm going to enter. Maybe I can win a mug. And it wasn't a mug that night. It was a ticket to WotCon. And it was from Wolf Brother and Kayla. And thank you so much, because I feel, it sounds crazy. I know I'm not the only one who feels this way, because I've been listening to the Lights Work podcast, which has made me really feel not weird and alone while I've been trying to process this. Like, I feel like it changed my life to go to WotCon and to be in the same physical space. I'm not really good at Twitter. I've been on there for about a year and I hadn't really made connections. Like, shout out to Uno's eye patch, who got me a little bit connected to having some followers. But I didn't feel like I'd really made personal connections or friends on there very much. Maybe 1 or 2 people who knew who I was before WotCon. I gotta pull it together. It's just so I can communicate. But I felt like I was watching this cool group of people. And then being there, I felt like I was one of you. And I was. And I don't take it for granted. Oh, wow. I have never felt such a sense of belonging in a community outside my little weird family. And so I feel like I'm busting up my life and I've got to get my priorities straight. And I want to make more time for you guys. I gotta go to the cons, obviously. Like, that felt like such an extravagance and a luxury, and it's essential. I gotta get to know you guys better. Sorry for all the sniffling. I'm not a crier either, but this happened so many times that weekend. Like, if anybody asked me, like, hey, is it your first time? And I started to say the same story and be like, well, I won a ticket and I'm here, and I would just start crying. After the second night, I had felt such a sense of belonging and connection that I could just talk to anyone. And that's not how I usually feel. And the singing together, sing this Talk Around Riyadh sing along, and then later singing with the What Idol, like the last morning when we all sat together and we sang those songs. It just got chills and the tears came again. And so I just want to thank everybody who talked to me and made me feel welcome. Everybody who was just there, like how you acted toward each other made me feel welcome. Of course, there were still times where I felt awkward and I wasn't sure, and I was nervous to talk to certain people. And I may not have talked to you because of it. I'm just so glad that I've connected to this community. I've talked to my husband about arranging that time so I can always have Wednesdays to pop into the Dusty Wheel. And wow, I didn't expect to cry this much. I wanted to talk about all the good things. But it crying in a good way, right, Grace? Um, whew, let me just take a breath. I've never met a group of people that just takes people in for who they are. And whatever you need, anytime there was like arrangements for food, everyone would ask about food sensitivities and weird things too. Like everyone who took a selfie for me always took multiple, and I'm a blinker. And there was always a good photo. And the selfies, I was going to lead with this, but I totally spaced. I hate having my photo taken, but after I worked so hard on that cloak and after I met you wonderful people, I wanted pictures with you. And I have never taken so many selfies. Like, I don't know what came over me. Thanks to everyone who took pictures for me. So, more Dusty Wheel, more Wheel of Time podcast, more Twitter time, more conventions to hang out with you wonderful people. And because I can never be casual, I have decided to start I don't know if it's going to be YouTube or a podcast, but a project called The Studying to bring us together in this safe space to make connections in fandom. I really want to explore the creativity like beyond what we do for content creation. Like I know so many of you are artists and musicians and theater creators, and others of you have capital T talents and other things. And I'd love to dig into like what in the Wheel of Time inspires us that may or may not be a direct inspiration. I'm still kind of coming up with the words for this project, but if you would like to chat with me, I just think it's like a really great excuse and a nice I can't think of the word, but it's like we're getting together for this purpose to talk and connect, and that structure, that's the word, will be really helpful for me trying to make friends in this fandom. And I think as much as I love listening to podcasts, that some people might like to listen, and maybe we'll do videos so we can have a little show and tell of our artwork or projects, gardening, like all kinds of things, not just visual arts. So I am brewing that up behind the scenes. If you would like to just chat with me, I'm hoping to do it like maybe every other week. I don't know that I can manage every week with everything else, but I want to carve out time and space for this community, and that feels like one way that I want to do that. So thanks for listening to me. Thanks for holding space for me to just cry. Like I came off the plane and my husband asked how it was. I just cried and just blabbered at him about how wonderful you all are. Maybe one day I'll bring him with me, but for now he was watching our kid. I think I've lost my voice doing this video. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I don't have anywhere to tell you. I guess you could subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to follow the studying project. And I will give further updates here. When I get that figured out, I might make it like a kind of a video podcast and then also a podcast. Like, so if you want to just listen to it, because sometimes that's a little bit more accessible in life when we're running around in our cars and stuff than all the video content. So that was super vulnerable, but you guys make me feel safe to do that. And thanks to everybody who gave me a hug when I was crying at WotCon. I remember each one of you. I'm not going to call out anybody by name because I would leave someone out, but I'm so thankful that I met all of you, and I can't wait to get to know you better, because you're my people and I want to spend more time with my people rather than trying to fit into spaces that aren't the right fit for me. So I feel like I should have some pithy saying to end. May you always find water and shade.